Hey there, it's Andrea with Go Diaper Free, and I've got a recording for you today of me recording episode 84 of my podcast. It is called To Daycare Without Diapers, How to Send Your Toddler to Daycare or Preschool Without Diapers. If you are watching this because you've searched for information on this, you can go to godiaperfree.com/84 to see the written version of today's show, or go to my podcast on iTunes to listen to it and others. Okay, let's begin. Welcome to the Go Diaper Free podcast, where we're all about helping you potty your baby as early as birth. I'm your host, Andrea Olson, author and mom of 5 babies, all EC'd from birth, all out of diapers by walking. This is episode 84, To Daycare Without Diapers, How to Send Your Toddler to Daycare or Preschool Without Diapers. So you can read the written version of today's show over at godiaperfree.com/84, where I will also conveniently link to all the things I mentioned in today's episode. I'll also be replying to comments over there, so come on by when you're finished. And I also have 2 very important free handouts for you over on that website. Again, it's godiaperfree.com/84, and they will be, there are worksheets there, one for your daycare teacher and one for you, and we'll get more into those in a bit. So one of the biggest questions that can trip up your elimination communication or potty training efforts is, how do I send my toddler to daycare or preschool without diapers? Hands down, toughest thing ever. Today I'm going to share with you what we did, provide you with some tips, and give you a few handouts that will help you make the same steps with your 1-year-old to 3-year-old child. So day 1, how we sent Branson to preschool without diapers. Our kids returned to preschool on September 4th, all 3 of the youngest at that time. And today's show is actually about Branson, who is my 4th. I've since had another baby. We sent Branson at that time, 18 and a half months old, to school without diapers for the first time. Before summer, we sent him to preschool in a disposable diaper backup, even though he was out of diapers at home. He'd been out of diapers by 12 months. And we started preschool at 13 months, and up through about 14 and a half months, we used a diaper at preschool. I did warn the teacher at that time, before the summer, that there would be no more diapers come September, and now the time had come. Day 1 was a huge success. There's a photograph over there on the show notes of the backpacks. 3 backpacks, 3 preschoolers. The red bag is our wet dry bag with Branson's backups in it, and you can get those wet dry bags over at my Tiny Undies shop. Preparing for the transition. So I did a few things to help make this a smooth back to preschool transition. I hope these can help some of you too. Number 1, we took him out of diapers at 12 months old. One of the biggest indicators of success is taking your child out of diapers early. If you're reading this and your child is still less than 18 months old, great. Start elimination communication in some way today if you haven't already. With my 3rd child, Cooper, we waited to take him out of daytime diapers till 17 months old, even though he hadn't pooped in one since he was very small. I knew that this was why Cooper resisted so much at preschool and was a pain to night train too. So with B, we did something dramatically different and more in alignment with what we did concerning our 1st and 2nd children. We took B out of diapers at 12 months old during the daytime, at home, and on some outings. He's had plenty of practice by this point, and we worked a ton on his communication by the time he went to preschool that fall. Number 2, I communicated with the teacher before school started. So I spoke ahead of time with his teacher about the class's daily schedule, which is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and we decided on some easy transition times that worked for B's usual timing. Some good transition times when they changed diapers anyway, and it wouldn't be difficult for them to also potty him. And we talked about what worked best for her ease as a teacher. As time has gone on, we've adjusted that schedule based on the actual day-to-day reality, and things have stayed steady. At the time of this recording, he's actually about to turn 3 years old. He's still in preschool, and we have an amazing track record there. Number 3, I sent the proper backups and provided a toilet seat reducer. I filled his wet dry bag with 3 pair of Tiny Ups, which are pull-up cloth covers that I created, and 3 pair of Tiny Trainers, also sprung from my EC needs for a training pant that would actually hold liquid. Plus an extra pair of pants. So that was a wet dry bag with 3 pairs of Tiny Up covers, 3 pair of Tiny Trainers, and 1 extra pair of pants, just in case it was a big one, a big miss of pee. So there's a picture over on the post with our wet dry bag filled with Tiny Trainers and Tiny Ups. And again, you can get all that stuff at tinyundies.com. I'll link to it in the show notes too. I also gave the teachers a new toilet seat reducer that matches the one we have and use at home, which is the WePod by Prince Lionheart. Unfortunately, I don't think they're making this one anymore, but the teachers still have it in their classroom. They're still using it there, and they will be using it with Twyla. I did a foundational P, so this is number 4. I did a foundational P and provided an update. So upon arrival that day, I wrote this every single day thereafter, we pottied B for his foundational P and updated the teacher that he'd already pooped this morning. So this is what we still do to this day. We do a foundational P, and we also indicate whether or not he's pooped. I also showed her the extra backups and gave her the choice of what to use. So on this very first day of preschool, the teacher chose to use just tiny ups with pants over them because it would be less things to take off and put back on. And he was already 18 and a half months old. Number 5, I pottied him at pickup and got an update from the teacher. So upon our 1 p.m. pickup that very first day of preschool, the teacher and I briefly reviewed the day and what worked and what didn't work. It was a success in that although he did have one miss or accident, and she was able to wrangle class well enough to do the pre-playground potty-tunity, he went through an entire day of preschool without diapers at 18 months old. However, I have to admit something to you. Full honesty, yes, I almost did the easy thing that morning. I almost sent him in disposables along with a pack of diapers to make it easier for Miss Laura. I felt like I was asking too much of her, even though she had also EC'd Cooper in her class 18 months ago. But I chose to be brave instead. The point is, it doesn't matter how many wet pants you have in the day. What matters is that your baby is learning and that you are following your value system when it comes to diapers or not as a parent. Okay? Okay. Day 2, disaster. On day 2 of coming back to preschool, things did not go as well. Apparently, Branson resisted the potty and screamed, and the teachers backed off, and he had a ton of wet ones all day. But the resistance scared the teachers, and they were at a loss about how to go forward. Here are the modifications we made that second day based on what they told me had happened. Number 1, I told them to take his pants and undergarments off completely at every potty-tunity. Branson often dislikes having his pants and undies on his ankles as he sits on the toilet. So I offered this modification having known his tendencies at home. And I have to tell you, now that he's about to turn 3, this blog post was when he was 18 months. He definitely was like that till he was about 2. He had to take his pants and underwear completely off, just personal preference. And now, luckily, he keeps them at his ankles and does everything completely by himself. Number 2 modification, I demonstrated how I give privacy to Branson while he goes. So often our babies will resist the potty when we do not give them privacy. Remember, this is their deal, not ours. Their body, not ours. So I showed them how I pop B onto the toilet and then I move away from him, talking to the others inside the classroom. So his bathroom is at the end of the classroom with a closing door between. How I would not pay attention to B while I'm doing this, how I would occasionally grunt a little cue in case he has to poop. As I spoke to them outside the door, telling them this, B peed, as if on cue. So I showed them how to give privacy. I told the teachers that he and most kiddos does not like when someone is sitting right next to them, holding them or protecting them on the toilet. Most prefer that you turn your back, wash your hands, talk to someone else, etc., so that they feel they have privacy. And number 3 modification, I advise that they do not talk to B about pottying at all. When taking B to the potty, I ask the teachers to not say where they're going. Hey, we're going pee, just to not say that. And to not say anything about it when they set him down on the toilet. I advise that they matter-of-factly just take him with no conversation, just as we do at home. The outcome? It worked. Day 3, huge success. On day 3, the teachers were able to adjust the above 3 things that I just mentioned, and they had 0 misses the whole day. The modifications that we made, which stemmed from an open conversation, and also, my awareness of his potty rhythms, behaviors, and preferences at home, clearly worked. Had they not worked, I would have made more suggestions the next day, and probably no more than 3. It's a lot of things for a teacher to handle. They worked so well that this happened. There's a photo over on the blog post, godiaperfree.com/84, of Branson completely passed out on the potty. So relaxed and comfortable that he fell asleep on the potty at preschool. It's adorable. You should definitely check it out. The weekly challenge, dealing with different teachers every Friday. So we used to have only Monday through Thursday care at our preschool, but a lot of us work-at-home moms requested Fridays, and our generous director granted it. But it's a mixed age class, about 15 months to 5 years old, and the teachers rotate through every week. So what does this mean for being diaper-free at preschool? Well, that you can't just rely on working with your 1 or 2 teachers, that you actually have to train the whole staff if you have a rotating staff. I have to be honest, I was scared. But I stuck with my values and our plan, and I came up with a simple way to teach the teachers every Friday morning. So here's how I taught the teachers weekly. Every Friday. Number 1, I demonstrated pottying Branson during our foundational P upon arriving. Again, every single day, foundational P, just one to get them going. I would demonstrate this to 1 or both teachers on the Friday care staff. I told them about taking his pants off completely, how to give privacy, and to not just ask, do you need to go, or talk about we're going potty beforehand, ever. Number 2, I told them to take him at transition times as if he were a 2 or 3-year-old who was potty training still. So because most of the teachers were not from B's usual class, they all dealt with diapered and potty training 2, 3, and 4-year-olds every day, Monday through Thursday. So I made it very relevant to them, explaining that they can just take him just like they take an older child who's learning the same thing. Just pretend like he's 2 or 3. Examples of transition times include before going out to the playground, after lunch, etc. And there's a little picture of B at the playground. The perfect potty-tunity is before and after playground time. So number 3, for the Friday care teachers, I told them that he will not normally signal, but to stick to the transition times. You see, most teachers think that the child is not trained if they don't tell them every single time that they have to go. Most parents also think this, and doctors. Some even think that early potty training is harmful, especially if the child doesn't signal willingly. That is BS. But honestly, let me ask you a question. Does your child tell you clearly every time she is ready for a nap? How about a snack or water? Does she very clearly say, I want a snack, mother, and she's 18 months old? Nope. Usually these unspoken needs translate into erratic behavior, and we parents eventually catch on, especially with sleep and scheduling our snacks. With pottying, it is important to tell teachers that the lack of signals doesn't mean he isn't aware. He's just got a lot going on right now, especially at school. Hello, distractions. Since B sometimes tugs at his butt and sometimes says poo-poo, I told them that these occasionally happen as signals, but to not count on it. Don't wait him to say he has to go. Take him at these times that we've talked about. Stick to the transitions. Luckily, the teachers at our preschool are fairly open to early potty training, due in part to the fact that I've been having them EC my babies there for the past 3 years at the time of this writing. So now for the past 5 years, I've been having them EC my babies there as well. But some people, you don't know if they're willing until you ask, and we definitely make it relevant to them. Number 4, fourth thing I told the Friday staff, and I would kind of pick and choose which things I told them each Friday depending on the teacher, but I would tell them if he starts to poop, you got to tell him to wait and take him to the potty. I definitely told every teacher this every Friday if he hadn't pooped yet. I had a babysitter who allowed my son to finish pooping before she changed his cloth training pants. No joke. I was very upset. She clearly didn't listen to the training I gave her just that morning. She was kind and promptly asked to never, ever come back. Many teachers will also wait for your child to poop and then change them. It's not their fault. It's just an ingrained habit. So I made it clear that if they see him start to push, they should say wait, then transport him to the toilet so he can poop on the toilet. And number 5, and again, the written version of all this, if you can't keep up with it or remember it or you're a visual person, is over at godiaperfree.com/84. Definitely use that if you need it. Number 5, I told them that it didn't matter how many wet ones he has, but what's important is the learning he's going through. Since he's been out of diapers at home since 12 months old, he's used to being in a cloth backup, i.e. undergarments. But it's not perfect and there are distractions, so I make it really laid back. It's not about the number of wets, it's about the learning, which we are dedicated to continuing at school and at home. Number 6, I showed them his backups inside his wet-dry bag. Quick overview of the tools of the trade, what to do with wet ones, and we were done with the quick 5 minutes of mini training. That was everything. All this stuff took me 5 minutes, you guys. What do we do with the wet ones anyway? I didn't mention that. You put them in the other pocket of the wet-dry bag. There's a dry pocket and a wet pocket. Okay, number 7, I followed up with them upon pickup to see how everything went. It's always nice to thank them and ask for feedback of how he did, so we communicate when I pick up and when I offer the final pre-car ride home podituity. It's very important. We have a foundational P and we have a final P before we get in the car. And I definitely just check in with the teachers. How did it go? Communication's awesome and shows your appreciation. So the results of training different teachers every Friday, every single week since school started back up. And at the time of writing this, he had been back 5 weeks already with 5 different sets of brand new teachers. He had done great with all the other teachers. Seriously amazing. Like sometimes even better than he does in his regular Monday through Thursday class. So if you're wondering how something like this can possibly work, it can. We are proof. So now let's discuss a few of our improvements, little tweaks we've made along the way. So during that year of preschool of putting him back in at 18 months, every day we do the foundational P, the check-in, and upon arrival, the final P and the checkout. We check in with the teachers before and after school, and we adjust the game plan when necessary. We found that he had hand, foot, and mouth disease. Thanks to EC, the spotted butt was discovered. We also found out that he was majorly constipated another day, causing him to have nonstop pee accidents for 2 days, then a huge poop at home. We taught B how to sit on a big public toilet, so unassisted, and told the teachers that they can now easily potty him while he's at the gym when they didn't have his little toilet seat reducer with him. They had a lot of problems with him going to the gym all that year because if they had to play inside, couldn't go to the playground, they might have to potty him while he's in the gymnasium, and it only had a big public toilet. So during that year, we taught him how to sit on it without any assistance. We've continued to send backups and be encouraging and positive with the teachers. Branson did absolutely wonderfully that year, and the teachers felt great too. And again, now he's about to turn 3, and most of his peers are still in diapers, and he just takes himself all the time. He says, I need to pee, I need to poop. Goes, does his business, comes back out. It's great. So that's our story for that year of sending Branson without diapers, beginning to end. Here are some tools for you. I do not want to leave you hanging. I'm not that kind of gal. You can grab my 2 tips handouts, one for you and one for your teacher, over at the show notes for today's episode at godiaperfree.com/84. They are very robust, very detailed, and you cannot find them anywhere else in my book, on my website, nowhere. These are very unique. I hope that those of you who don't have these handouts yet will find them useful. If you do already have them, give them another look and another try. Again, see the written version of this podcast over at godiaperfree.com/84. And I want you to head over there right now and let me know, what will you do today to become more diaper-free or to start being diaper-free at preschool or daycare? See you over there in the comments. Till next time, when I share the first part of our series on infant potty training stories from indigenous cultures, starting with Africa. You are going to love it. Till then, happy pottying, y'all. I'm Andrea Olson, and you've been listening to the Go Diaper Free podcast at godiaperfree.com. Okay, you guys, that was awesome. That was great. One take wonder. Awesome. Saving it. Now, if you have any questions or comments or whatever about sending your child diaper-free to daycare or preschool, please comment below. We answer everyone. And definitely grab those handouts. Go over to the website and get those for sure at godiaperfree.com/84. We'll hop you right over to them. They're totally free. They're totally helpful. And I hope that they'll help you wrap your mind around what does it take to send your child to daycare without diapers. And I'll give you a hint. The first thing is getting them poop trained. So I have lots of resources for that over there at the website. Definitely join up if you want to, and hit the bell and subscribe if you want to hear my next stuff. Okay, take care. Bye.